Good afternoon. I'm Adam Rutstein, VP of Corporate Citizenship and Sustainability at TD SYNNEX, and I'm joined today by Jeff from the Arbor Day Foundation. We're kicking off a new partnership with Arbor Day Foundation, so really excited to have you here today, Jeff. Maybe just to start, you can tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at Arbor Day.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. It's good to be here. Excited to launch a partnership with TD SYNNEX. So my name's Jeff Ashford. I get to work on corporate partnerships here at the Arbor Day Foundation. So my job really is to work with companies from large to small, figure out how we can strategically work together to plant trees and help meet their sustainability goals or various other organizational goals. I've been here 8 years, and we are based in Lincoln, Nebraska, which is home of the Arbor Day holiday.
So, Jeff, maybe we can start a little bit by you sharing more about your personal journey into sustainability and what really initially inspired you to get involved, and how has that passion evolved over time?
Yeah, good question. I probably have a little more unorthodox entry to the sustainability world, but after graduating college, I worked in kind of corporate America for about a decade. It was definitely successful, kind of working the advertising and marketing space, but just really didn't feel like I was accomplishing much. I really started to, the longer you're in the workforce, I think you start to think about legacy and what I do day to day, does it really matter? So I kind of started looking for a new career path and came across Arbor Day. They were in my backyard. I'm from Nebraska. It's a nonprofit based out of here. You never really think about working for a nonprofit, I think, until someone connects you with that. So I had a former coworker who told me about a role that was building partnerships from the ground up, and getting to plant trees. I've always kind of been. I always call myself kind of a hippie at heart, right? And trees are just something that spoke with me. Grew up with them, playing with my grandfather's farm, harvesting apples. And then when the opportunity came across Arbor Day, I just really saw it as a way to make a difference day to day, get to work with companies, to really make an impact. Planting a tree is a very unselfish act. They take time to grow. They accomplish a lot, but really inspiring companies to make large scale change for the planet. So I got into the spot, been here 8 years, get to work again with some of the biggest companies in the world to really make scalable change in communities and in forests and for the planet. So it's something I'm proud of. I get to tell my kids about. I feel like, if they're at show and tell at school, they're proud saying what their dad does. So that's really what got me to space. Just really wanted to have something, leave a legacy, something that you go home at night and you feel good about what you did for the day's work.
That's really great to hear. And it's always interesting to hear how folks in the sustainability space got involved in their own careers and what their personal journeys look like. Switching gears a little bit, can you tell us more about Arbor Day Foundation's sustainability program and the key initiatives that have really made the biggest impact so far within Arbor Day?
Yeah. So I guess to tell you that, probably a little context. So the Arbor Day Foundation, we're a global nonprofit dedicated to planting trees. We have a very simple mission. It's that we want to inspire people to plant, nurture, and celebrate trees. And we've been around as a foundation for over 50 years now, but the Arbor Day holiday is actually America's oldest environmental holiday. It's about 100 years older than Earth Day. Started in the state of Nebraska, now celebrated globally. But really, it's always tree centric for us. What do trees do? How can we get people involved with trees in their communities and just in general forest stewardship? So our programs are really stem around those. Getting trees into forests where trees have been lost due to wildfires, droughts, invasive insects. Trees in communities where they don't have access to nature and tree canopy. So all of our programs are really around, right species, right place, right time for the right reasons. And stemming from that, a lot of programs around water stewardship, carbon offsets, understanding really how trees impact people and the environment, biodiversity. So they're all kind of built around where we're planting trees and why. And it just continues to evolve, especially as corporates challenge us, to help them meet their goals. Trees, we always say they're not the silver bullet, but they're pretty close. There's a lot that they do, and it's really about understanding the impact they can have.
Yeah, exactly. The benefits of trees are really countless. And now, when it comes to some of the approaches that Arbor Day Foundation is taking, what are some of the innovative approaches that are going on within your organization to really tackle these sustainability challenges that are before us?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's really twofold. I think, again, understanding what trees are doing. Of course, using the latest technology and data to quantify that is really advancing investment in our work on a global scale. So we work with a lot of the environmental organizations across the globe, like WRI, World Resources Institute, WWF, the Nature Conservancy, really trying to come together to come up with a suite of tools to help tell that story again. So for us lately, I think water stewardship that has become an increasingly important topic in corporate America. How companies are thinking about their water use and stewardship in their local communities, especially as they grow and have vast footprints. So for us, is how do we quantify the impact trees have on water? That has been a big area of growth with us, working with experts that really validate when you plant a tree and it filters water, how does that get back down to the aquifer? And how can corporates really invest in that and make claims based off it to offset their use? And the same thing with the carbon markets. We've been planting trees for over 100 years and they've always sequestered carbon. But now that there's the mechanism of the carbon markets, how can we kind of, um, you know, amplify that to increase investment? How are we tracking what the trees are actually doing? It's not enough to just estimate anymore. It's about validating that and making sure that there's the ROI of the investment. So I think for us, it's taking what we've always done and just adding more validation to our work to inspire additional investment.
That's great. And Arbor Day is a global organization, and your footprint with trees is global, right?
Absolutely. Yep. We definitely started off in the U.S., in the state of Nebraska on the first Arbor Day. Planted 1 million trees on one day, as the legend goes. I wasn't there for that. It was 1872, but that's what they tell me. And now we're working in 60 to 70 countries at any given time with experts on the ground. We're based out of Nebraska. We're not the ones on the ground doing the work, but we're the ones vetting the groups and aligning with the various networks and making sure we're working with the best people in those areas that are using the latest science, the latest planting methods, really getting the trees in the ground the right way. And then also, more importantly, are there to sustain the growth of those trees over time and make sure, they're not clear cut in 10 years and when we're investing into planting 1 million trees in Africa. So yeah, it really all comes together. But we work through experts in the field. So the U.S. Forest Service, the various state forest services, other environmental nonprofits across the globe.
Now, as we approach Earth Day, and within TD Synex, we're celebrating Earth Month this April. Why do you think it's especially important to highlight sustainability efforts right now? And, how does participating in this type of campaign influence your organization's commitment to environmental responsibility?
I always think that Earth Month, and we always say Earth Month culminates in Arbor Day. It's the last Friday of every April. So Earth Month is really, I think it's just that point on the counter that, take action. There's a lot of, we can try to come up with plans and long-term goals, but really I think Earth Month is about doing something, getting your hands dirty, going out and accomplishing something. And thinking too, just, from a personal perspective, one thing you can do better, right? Um, so I like that it's a point on the calendar. It's a month everybody come together and try to accomplish something. I think it's also offers a kind of avenue for corporates to take a step back and really think about how they can inspire their communities and their employees to do something good. So with all those things kind of coming together, it's just really a nice long runway to do something. And coincidentally, it's also the right time to plant trees um, in the spring. It's a great time to plant trees. So that's why Arbor Day is in April. And, the weather's nice. Get out there, get the trees in the ground so they can grow.
That's great. And I can tell you with our Earth Month, we're definitely really excited to launch this partnership with Arbor Day Foundation and really, be able to make an impact. Trees have countless benefits as we talked about. So we're really excited to launching this with Arbor Day. Now, looking ahead a bit, what do you think are the most critical areas for growth in sustainability?
I think the most critical areas are probably it'll be dependent on really the industry you're working in. But I think when you take a genuine approach to kind of mitigate the impacts your business has, that's generally where the growth is going to come. So I've seen a lot of kind of movement towards water stewardship, biodiversity stewardship. It's really understanding the impacts you're having and taking approaches to mitigate those in a way that you can measure. In addition to, as more corporates and people are moving to large urban city centers, kind of the license to operate in these large industrial areas where a lot of people and a lot of great infrastructure are, how are you taking genuine approaches to really showcase, your commitment to a sustainable operation? So tree planting kind of comes to the center, a lot of that, which is great for us. It's a great way to kind of mitigate a lot of those things, from, water to biodiversity to urban heat to pollution. So I think it's really mostly about being able to measure your impact and take steps to mitigate your impact in a credible way. And for us, luckily, again, trees are kind of at the center of that. So
That's great. And, collaboration is really key when it comes to sustainability. We see that within our own program. We collaborate internally with our coworkers cross functionally. We collaborate with our IT partners across the channel. And that's really how you can drive meaningful scale and results when it comes to sustainability. Now, within Arbor Day Foundation, you started to talk a bit more about collaboration, the different organizations and companies that you work with. Can you share more about how critical collaboration is and how that works with Arbor Day?
absolutely. Well, first of all, we would not exist without collaboration. We really are an organization of a network. We kind of see ourselves as the centerpiece in this global tree community. We're part of every network. We're part of every conversation where trees are involved. Again, we're based in Nebraska. We need boots on the ground all across the globe to really help facilitate this work that are experts there. So we personally collaborate with, on a programmatic level with experts all over the globe that understand how trees affect their community and their landscapes. So that's kind of that first component is programmatically, but then on the partnership level, we're a nonprofit. We can't do any of this without partners. It takes investment from individuals, corporates, governmental organizations to really scale up this work and make an impact. And coming together and just, I think sometimes a lot of the times we kind of let, perfection get in the way of progress. But, when one organization says something and another one joins them and they're part of the same networks and kind of all start to move together towards really accomplishing something special. And for us, that's always trees in the ground or protecting existing forests. So it just takes a lot of people to really make scalable change. And we know we can't do it alone. So that's really my role, again, is to inspire other organizations and partners to join us in this important work.
Thank you for that. As we wrap up our discussion today, just any closing marks that you'd like to leave our viewers with regarding Earth Month and sustainability?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I would say, it's called Earth Month for a reason. Get outside, right? It's tough to really appreciate how lucky we are to have this great planet when you're sitting at a desk. But that's why I love to get out and plant trees in local communities. That's the first thing I always do is try to get out with our partners in their communities and plant trees together, inspire people to do something, right? It's amazing how many people that work at the Arbor Day Foundation work here because they planted a tree with a family member 20 years ago. And how many people on the corporate side I get to work with, we might be planting a tree together in downtown Chicago. And in 5 years, hey, I think maybe I'd want to work at Arbor Day. Tell me how I can do that. So, get outside, just think about what you can do. It takes a small little action to make a big impact. Planting a tree today is not going to solve any, one single tree. It's not going to solve any global crises, but over time, that tree is going to grow and it's going to do more and more. And just getting out and doing that and telling people about it is really the first step you can take to really making a big change.
Jeff, thank you so much for your time today. I want to wish you a very happy Earth Month and really looking forward to collaborating with Arbor Day Foundation.
Absolutely, Adam. Thanks for having me. It's good to have the opportunity to work with you guys and look forward to having a big impact together.
Thank you so much.